Good morning, everyone. All over the world. Hope everyone's having a fine morning. Today is the first day of fall. Our summer has gone. It's cloudy out there today. We're supposed to get a little bit of rain. And it'll be nice again for the weekend in another week or so. So I think we're going to have a really good September. Just went out and grabbed a couple crinkled up maple leaves. Hey? So, yeah. Look at that. Fall's here. We don't have such nice colors as people on the East Coast or on the mainland, but our maple trees and alders and arbutus, cottonwoods, oaks, they all look pretty cool too. Just wanted to share that with you. Couldn't find a nice big green one, but it is fall, so they're turning yellow, right? And gold. Moved my travel trailer last night, or I should say Steven Addison and me did. Stevie used his truck. Thank you very much, Stevie. And he's going to help me tonight move it one step further up to Parksville, onto waterfront campground there. Then we're going to stay there for a month. I'm going to travel back and forth into work and work on the trailer because I'm going to sell it. It's too big. It's 30-footer with a big slide out. If anyone needs one, give me a ring. So as I was porting just now, I was just going to start another 592. I just finished a 592. Let me just go grab it. It's outside. I wanted to show you some differences on the before and after, and just different manufacture of cylinders. I'll get into that in just one sec here. Let's just go blow this one off, and I'll bring it in. Alrighty, that one's clean. This is a 592 for Mr. Muley, maybe. Didn't write it. I write people's names on the cylinders with Sharpie, and sometimes it wears off a little bit, but so I can keep track of them all. So it's about the 10th 592 I think I've done. Kind of looks like a little face, eh? So I'm going to get down here and show you the different ports on this. They're basically in a large cylinder of the old 575, 576 models that Husky had their first round of auto-tune on, the first generation. Now it's up to like 4th generation, I think, with these. They all seem to be running pretty good. Couple little hiccups here and there, but overall they're starting to be okay. Had a couple people talk about having problems idling, and some of them, the purge bulbs weren't working right. So just fix the hose on those. That's the only problem on it. They get a little kinked. They got a weird shape to them, so you got to have them just positioned just right so they don't get kinked. They got these little curves on them. So if yours isn't pumping up and holding gas in the purge valve, check that line. That's probably what it is. So let me show you the difference between Donny, Molly, and whatever else is out there in the world. Not sure if Still's making their own 500 cylinder, or maybe another company, what did my dad say years ago? Carl Schmidt or something in Germany, I think, might make them. There's no real name on it, but maybe one of you guys out there know a little more than I do. A lot of people do. Not the smartest guy in the world. Still BR, then AH on it, and it's got like a date stamp on it. Yeah, so that's a 500 stock one. Nice little cylinder. They got an odd-shaped combustion chamber. I don't cut combustion chambers, and I don't deck these ones. I just had custom gaskets made for 462s and 500s, so I just give them more compression. Then I just clean up the edges of the ports. There isn't a lot of ported needed to be done on these. Some might differ, but I don't care. I just make a good work. Just try to make a good work saw. It's going to be reliable. Their pistons are a little jaggedy, so I clean the skirts of the pistons up all around. You can feel like a roughness there, and you know that right away that's going to scratch a bit on the chrome, eh? So yeah, clean them up. That's what I did with the 500s. So yeah, now you get the 461. To me, the 461 is one of the worst ones. I've showed you this before, I think, but they're made by Donny. There's the intake, you know. Look at that intake in the bottom there, you know. Big jagged ramp to it, eh? It's all like little grapes there, I call little jagged edges. So I remove that and clean that intake port up. I don't polish it, just clean it up decently so it's got a nice flow to it. Then I do some of the some transfer port work, clean it up, enlarge them a bit, and then the exhaust port. Don't go too wide on your exhaust port on the stills, 500s, 461s. If you're porting them, you'll catch a ring. So then you see the roughness in these 461s, and the transfers, exhaust a bit, and that intake especially, right? So those are Donny. I've even had some of these cylinders that had a poor casting on the sides here and had like a porous hole in them, and they were sucking air. So I got warranty, but I also just DevCon JB welded those little holes and just used them on a used saw. I didn't want a chance giving it to a faller. I don't like giving rebuilt stuff, fixed stuff to them. They got to have reliability. That's what I'm known for. This is a finished 592. Cleaned up the transfers. They have good port timing to them. I think very good port timing for a work saw. 27 thou squish, which is good for me, especially with carbon buildup. So transfers are done. I clean up the intake just a bit, some of the jagged edges, the air holes a bit, polish them, make sure there's no edges, and the exhaust port I slightly widen and round and raise it just a little bit. No need to delete the base gasket or have a different base gasket on those. I also have here, so that's made by Donny too. So here's the stock one. That's what I was getting at. Let me just turn this stupid thing off. Here's the stock one that I'm just gonna start porting. Look at that. See that? See how rough it is? All these swirly rough lines in there. Okay. Terrible. Big huge ledge there on top. See all that? But if you take too much of that ledge off, I think you're raising the exhaust port too much. So I basically just kind of ramp that ledge and take just a bit off the top of the exhaust port. Not much. I don't want to take too much. I don't want to lose the bottom end. These are long bar saws, 32 to 50 inch, man. Whatever type of wood the guy's in. So this one I'll be cleaning up and get going. This is for a fellow in Saskatchewan. It's a half wrap heated version, and he's gonna run a short bar on. He's gonna love this saw. So yeah, that's just a different cylinder manufacturers. Then you look at an original old school 372, the Molly cylinders. They're beautiful, man. They're not polished or anything, but there's no jagged edges. No jagged edges anywhere. You know, just nicely finished. Molly cylinders, I believe, are the best. Definitely. They make them for Porsche, you know, everything. Everyone, Volkswagen, they're a big company. My little 346 here, me and my daughter are going to put together after she gets back from a trip to Toronto. Hey, Taylor. And that'll be one she's going to run. I told you that before, but I got to get on it. Oh, here's another one. Aftermarket cylinders. Oh my God, check this thing out. 3120 I took apart. Look at that chrome all missing on the sides of the exhaust port. You know, just terrible. I don't use aftermarket cylinders, but I took this one apart of a guy's, and it's just shot. Won't be doing that. Even when you do port the aftermarket cylinders, they seem to give you like the chrome will kind of flake off. Some are a little better than others, but overall, they're really junky. All right for a backyard guy who wants to build a saw and just use for firewood, but for reliability, I would not send one out to a logger. Here's actually a 461 aftermarket. It's actually a little cleaner than the OEM one, but again, it had some chrome coming off it too up by the transfer ports. Yeah, this guy sent me this that was together on a saw, and I switched it over to OEM for him, and he just left this with me. I mean, put it on a used firewood saw maybe, but probably not. I just keep them around. I got cylinders for almost every model of saw that's been ever made here. I actually even found a couple 2100 pistons at my dad's place the other night. One old two thick ring one. It's been scored. I just brought it here just to kind of have and look at it the way they made them in those days. And the old thin ring model, brand new piston, probably the last one around that's brand new here. I think he's got some rings. I'm gonna have to find some rings, but I don't have any used cylinders anyways that are any good. But I still have that nice 2100 that fella gave me. Original owner was Alan Roberts. He even gave me the workshop manual for it and the original owner's manual. That was cool. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, that's what I'm up to. I'm gonna get a couple more done here and head back in and get them together for you fine folks out there. I wanted to talk about crankcases too. A guy sent me a message from Australia today. He's been talking to me about 592s and 585s. Yeah, here we go again. Husqvarna crankcases are breaking. The 592, the top bolt of the inner dog are breaking, and I've had short blocks on order for quite some time, and I finally got hold of Husky. I said, what's going on with my short blocks? You say you have them, but you haven't shipped them to me. Well, I have a code 5 on them. Code 5 means that they're going to be a replacement already, and they're already working on a new one. So now I'm waiting for those. I had one brand new Husqvarna one break there, and Husqvarna was nice enough. They're really good on their warranty. They just gave a guy a new saw. So now I got a brand new 592 with a broken case, but I'm going to get it welded up. I'm going to keep that one just for myself, just to do some milling and a little bit of experiment with it. I might even put a pipe on it and use it in logger sports next year, but I'll change the auto tune and put the 585 carburetor on it. So anyways, crankcases, yeah. For years, 371s, 372s cracked. Husqvarna 2100s cracked at the beginning, and they finally made an aluminum side case for it. The clutch side of the crankcase was aluminum, so they didn't crack. And here's a good story. My dad, years ago, goes to Sweden to the factory, and he wanted to have a little meeting with the engineers, and they wanted to talk to him about a few things over here on the big saws, 394s, 372s, 385 wasn't quite out then, I don't think. It was coming real soon. So my dad took some crankcases with him, a 372, 2100, maybe he took 288. Anyways, and he took a still 066 case. Just the halves, the clutch sides, PTO sides. So he goes into this meeting and he's talking to these guys, and he point blank, he just says, every time you guys have a new model, never gets tested right, all this cracking, man. And now it's starting again with these new ones. So he laid out each crankcase on this beautiful big table in the engineer's office there, and said, here you go, here's your samples. You probably got a bunch back here for warranty. But what about this one? And he pulls out the still one and lays up there, and he goes, look at this one. How come this one doesn't crack? And we don't have any problems with this one. So why can't you guys build yours like this one? Kind of embarrassed them a little bit, but whatever. Sometimes they don't see stuff like that or understand, eh? But yeah, old Bobby Walker, he was had enough of it. He just like, come on, you guys, we got to get this together. And I don't know, maybe it helped, but there's always problems with new ones. Sometimes they don't test them in the conditions that we're going to use them, but You know, they're trying to make everything light, but then again, they got this cylinder that weighs almost 10 pounds. Well, not quite that, but you know what I mean? This thing's freaking huge, man. Massive. 93 cc's though, too. It's like a dirt bike, right? Yeah, so anyway, that's my take on that. Cylinders, crankcases. We got to go deal with a 572 of Bjarne Butler's. It's not idling, so I got to go pressure test it and maybe do the reset. There's another thing. I'm going to do a video on resetting your auto-tune saws. And I'm going to also make up a letterhead or tell people just to watch the YouTube video that I'm going to do. There is a YouTube video on YouTube right now from Tim Ard, is it? Or Tom Ard? Him and a Husqvarna representative, and they're talking about auto-tune and running the saws. You got to let an auto-tune at a dealership, or if you buy one and they don't run it, or you have run it and I've shipped it to you from Nanaimo here. You got to let it, wherever you're at and your fuel you're using, fill it up, start it up, let it idle for 5.5, 6 minutes. Just let it idle. And it's going to find its perimeters for the low speed setting and idle setting, and your elevation, your humidity, your gas in it. And then again too, got to remember, run the highest octane you can. And good oil. So then after you run it at idle like that, you know, they want you to do a rip cut with it for about 60 seconds, right around, you know, a minute, of course, right? So you put the bar, you run it full throttle, and the thing, you know, everyone's scared to blow these saws up, but they won't blow up. Run it full throttle, get the tip of that wood, just like the guy on that video, and I'm going to show you on a video next week too, because I'm going to get some more wood, and I'm going to show you. I've done it once before, but you might have missed that video. Get that tip in the wood, and just walk backwards with a full throttle with that tip in the wood just under the load. Pull it, count your 1 minute mark. You'll hear it. You'll hear the RPM go up and down, and all of a sudden it'll smoothen out, and then you know your high speed section set on that auto-tune, and it's ready to go. And you can do that once in a while if you're moving around. If you're working up at 3,000 feet, now you're down on the beach, or you've gone to a different province or state, and you're using different fuel. You might be using winter fuel, summer fuel, crappy fuel, good fuel, and it's going to compensate for that. So that's auto-tune people badmouth and Mtronic, but really, when it's working, it's doing a great job. It allows for dirty air filters, which is no excuse not to clean it, and, you know, air leaks and stuff. Okay, that's enough about that, and you'll see that coming up soon. I do have a surprise for Tin Man. I told him before I was going to send him some stuff, but I'm going to give him the surprise now. Here's one of the units I'm going to send you, Tin Man. This is a C51 Homelite. I think they're in the 70 cc range, but it's awfully big. Okay, look at that thing. It's all complete. Turns over. Got a cool muffler to it, eh? Yeah, it's got spark. I'm gonna send that to you, Tin Man. Yeah, I don't have time to deal with it. I don't really want to, but you can have it. It'll be a cool project for him. Got a couple old Shindawas there. I like those. These you couldn't get some parts for them now, but I made some parts and fuel lines and stuff for them. I just keep them around. Let friends use them. I even give one to my daughter. Yeah, little kart engines. Anyways, yeah, first day is fall. I'm gonna start getting out and getting a little bit of wood cut. Gonna do some milling at a friend's place, and I'll try that 592 for milling. And my 394, I'm just putting, this is a stock 394 cylinder. A couple fins missing, but I'm gonna do a little slight porting to it and put that for my mill as well. So I'll have the two saws. Okay, keep your saw in the wood, stick in the ice, rubber in the road. Check out the walkersawshop.com online store. Have a great weekend. It is TGIF too, by the way. First day of fall, and it's TGIF. Have a great day. Bye.